going to be doing a classic mat class today, so flowing through the exercises, which is perfect because it's March Madness. So each day this month I'll be posting a video of one of the exercises from Joseph Pilates' repertoire. So today we're going to go through all of them. Hopefully I don't forget anybody. I do have my cheat sheet here. So we're going to go ahead and get started for the classic classes. I just get right into it. I don't even stretch. So let's go ahead and roll back. We're going to go right into 100s. So let's work in neutral today. So imagine a little teacup right here. We're going to pull the hip bones together so you start to feel the core brace and bring the legs to tabletop without allowing that teacup to tip away or toward you. Let's open up the knees, draw chin to chest, and curl the head and shoulders off the mat into our ab prep. We're going to extend our legs out on our inhale for our 100s today and then pull them back to tabletop on our exhale. It makes it a little more challenging and you want to keep that teacup balanced. So let's start with the legs out and let's pump those arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, stretch the legs out, and exhale, pull the knees back in. The whole time, keeping that teacup balanced on top of the pelvis. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe try to go a little lower with the legs. Exhale, 3, 4, 5, 50, 60, 70, 80, belly button to spine, 90, last 10, 100, and rest. Just roll the body side to side for a moment. And then we're going to take our legs down to the bottom corners of the mat to practice our roll up. So taking the arms overhead, just press the body into the floor so you feel your core brace. We're going to point the toes. Arms are going to float up, draw chin to chest. We're coming up into an ab prep again. And then we lengthen the tailbone to the heels to roll through the imprint. Flex the feet, stretch forward, shoulders down. Now scooping through the abs, leading back with the pubic bone. Continue to reach your heels in the opposite direction of where you're rolling down. Pointing the toes, take the arms overhead again, press the body into the floor. Arms float up, draw chin to chest, lengthen the tailbone to the heels, and roll through the spine, flexing the feet, big stretch forward. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhaling down and exhaling up. 1 more time, inhaling down and exhaling up. We're going to roll down, bringing the arms down to the side, bring the legs to tabletop, and we're going to imprint the low spine, send the legs up to the ceiling for the roll over. Now, if you're at home and going up onto the shoulder blades is pretty difficult, putting some flexion on our spine. So you're just going to do little hip lifts, just like this. Think about the legs going up in order to lift basically your imprint off the mat. So that'll be your exercise. You're going to feel a lot of work through your low abs. For those of you going into the rollover, we're going to keep our legs together in parallel. Lift the legs up and then roll up to the tops of the shoulder blades. Now you can go over as far as maybe you can touch the toes to the floor. And then we're going to lift the legs up parallel to the floor. Flex the feet and open the legs a little wider than shoulder width apart and keep reaching your heels overhead. And we're going to roll down bone by bone, keeping the head and the shoulders on the mat. Once we find imprint, I'm going to move down a little bit. You're going to lower the legs as far as you can keep your imprint. Bring them together at the bottom, point the toes, lift the legs up again. Lift up to go over. So remember, weight at the top of the shoulder blades. And then maybe we take the legs down to see if we can get the toes to touch the mat. And then lift the legs up parallel to the floor. Open the legs, flex the feet. Keep reaching your heels over your head as you soften and roll down through the spine. Once we find imprint, we keep that stability and imprint. Lower the legs as far as you can keep it. Point the toes, bring the legs together. Lift up to go over. One more here and then we're going to reverse it. So again, maybe we bring the legs down. Open hip width, lift up parallel to the floor, open hip width apart. Flex the feet. Keep reaching the heels overhead as you roll down bone by bone. Keeping the legs hip width apart and flex. We're going to lower as far as we can keep imprint. Legs come together and then lift back up. Now from here, we're going to open the legs, flex the feet, and reach the heels up to go over. And again, lowering the legs, maybe the toes touch the mat, and then lifting the legs up parallel to the floor. Bring the legs together, point the toes, squeeze your legs together and roll down. Once you feel imprint, we're going to lower, lift back up, open, flex, lift, and then up to go over. And then again, maybe we lower the legs, toes touch the mat, lift back up parallel to the floor, legs together, point the toes, squeeze them together, roll down first. And then keeping our imprint, we lower, open, flex the feet, lift, and then heels go up to go over. Legs come together, squeeze them together, and then we roll down first. And then let's add one more lower, open, flex the feet, and lift. We're going to lower the left leg onto the mat, point the toes, arms out to the side like the letter T for single leg circle. So let's do 8 each way today. Remember, for our single leg circle, you want to reach out of your hip joint. So think about stretching the leg out like you're trying to touch the walls and the ceiling. Anchoring through that left side, so as the weight of your right leg goes to the side, that left hip stays on the mat. Let's reverse. 8, 7, reach out through your hip. 6, if you're getting popping, really stretch through your leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lower the right leg, centering the hips, left leg comes up, and let's cross our midline. Hip comes off, not the shoulder. Circle down, stretch that leg out to the side and back up. Inhale for half your circle. Exhale for the other half. Reaching through the right leg, so you're anchoring the right side onto the mat and the right hip onto the mat as your left leg goes out to the side and up. 2 more times this direction. 1 more. Now we're going to reverse out to the side, down. Cross your midline and back up. Inhaling and exhaling. Making sure I'm not hitting Dakota over here. She's looking at me. I'm getting real close. 4 more times. And 3. Big circles. Stretch through that leg. 2. Create length in the hip joint. And 1. We're going to hug both knees in and just kind of find your imprint. You're going to place your hands at your ankles or your shins, draw chin to chest, and curl up like you're trying to fold yourself into the shape of a little ball. And we're going to start to rock forward and back for rolling like a ball. Once you find the top, kind of like the back of the sit bones, we're going to balance there for a moment. And then leaning back with the pubic bone to roll back and then back up. And you make sure you don't roll onto your neck. You're going to stop your weight right at the shoulder blades. And then roll back up and try to keep your feet towards your bottom. So you're keeping your shape of that ball. Exhaling and inhaling. Couple more here. 2. And then we'll place our feet on the mat, grab behind the legs, and roll down. Let's try to stay in neutral again. So pull the hip bones together for a single leg stretch. We're going to bring our right leg up, drop chin to chest, curl up. The right hand's going to come to the ankle. Left hand's going to just touch the inner part of your right knee. So the outside hand is going to be at the ankle. Opposite hand will be at the inside of the knee. Take your left leg, reach it out, curl a little deeper, and then right into our single leg stretch. We're going to inhale, switch 2 times. Exhale, switch 2 times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and hug the knees in. Roll the head side to side. We're gonna prep or get into our double leg straight stretch now. So for double leg straight stretch, let's work an imprint. Draw chin to chest, curl the head and shoulders off the mat. Stay curled, keep your imprint. We're gonna bring the arms overhead as the legs go out. Resist losing your curl, circle the arms, pull the knees back in, inhale. Inhale, stretch, exhale in. Inhale, reach, exhale in 5 more times. Make sure you don't lose your imprint when your legs go out and your arms go up. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more time. And rest. Rolling side to side, deep breath in and out. We're going to take our legs down to the bottom corners of the mat, reaching the arms overhead. We're going to transition by using a roll up. So arms float up, draw chin to chest, and curl all the way up, flexing the feet. Take a stretch forward. Restacking the spine right up on top of the sits bones. Make sure your feet are as wide as your mat. We're going to do spine stretch forward. So today we're going to take our arms overhead, so biceps by your ears. Really flex the feet, ribs down, shoulders down. You should be on the sharpest points of the sits bones. We're going to scoop through the core. So you want to feel this pulling up and pulling in sensation through your abs. Staying on the sharpest points of the sits bones, we're going to curl. Think about that pulling up and in, like almost like you're rolling over a ball. If you had a ball here, you're taking the shape of it. Staying on the sharpest points of the sits bones, keeps flexing the feet, big stretch through the spine. And then inhale, restack the spine all the way back up. Keep your arms, biceps by your ears. And again, pull up and exhale. Really pull those abs in tight. Inhale, restack. And again, pulling up, exhale. Inhale, restack. One more time, pulling up and exhale. Keeping those shoulders down. Inhale, restack the spine. We're going to go ahead and grab the ankles for open leg rocker. Now, open leg rocker is kind of tough. It's slow and your legs are straight. So if your hamstrings are tight, you can keep your knees bent here, just as a little modified version. We're starting to the back of the sit bones, and we're going to take the legs out, if your hamstrings will allow you to, and just kind of lift through your upper mid back. Find a little balance here. And then leading back with the pubic bone, we're going to roll back. Remember, your weight goes to your shoulder blades, and then we exhale, roll right back up. Lift your upper mid back to find your balance. And again, scoop, roll back. And then use that scoop to come up. Lift the upper mid back. Keep reaching through your legs. The legs continue to reach the whole time. Nothing changes there. The only thing that's really changing is our upper mid back. So it's kind of straightening as we come up, and then we're scooping and rolling, rounding it as we go back. 2 more times. One more time. And then we're going to go ahead and lower the legs to the bottom corners of our mat. Flex the feet, big stretch forward. And we're going to roll all the way back for corkscrew. Bending the knees. Let's work an imprint and bring the legs to tabletop. Oh, sorry, bring your legs up to the ceiling through tabletop. So remember, for corkscrew, the hips actually stay on the mat. We're doing a little abduction and adduction at the hip joint. So as our legs shift over to the left, the right leg's going to get shorter because you're keeping that right hip on the mat. You should still have even weight on your sacrum and your low spine. We're going to do basically like an oval shape down, only as low as you can keep your imprint. As you shift to the other side, the left hip stays on the mat, so the left leg is going to get shorter than the right. We come up the other side and then back to center. And then we reverse it to the right, left leg gets shorter, the left hip stays on the mat. Oval down. As you go to the other side, Right leg gets shorter because you're keeping the right hip on the mat, and then back to center. So we get this nice work in our obliques because of the weight of the legs shifting side to side. And we're working the hip joint because we're doing that abduction and adduction. And it is more like an oval in my mind instead of like a circle like we would do for hip twists, which we'll do in a little bit. Let's do one more each way. Inhale for half that circle. Exhale for the other half. Last one. We're going to take our legs down to the bottom corners of the mat again. Reach the arms overhead, press your body into the floor, arms float up and roll up to transition. Flex the feet, big stretch forward. We're going to restack our spine here. Find your sit bones and just open your legs a little wider than the outsides of your mat for saw. Taking the arms out to the side, melt the ribs down, shoulders down. We're going to rotate to the right. Look at the right hand and then reach across with your left hand like you're going to saw off your right pinky toe. The left hip, we're going to keep it anchored to the mat, and we're going to do 4 sawing motions, reaching 1, 2, 3, 4, restacking the spine all the way back up, keeping your twist, and then coming to center. Nice and tall through the spine, abs pull up, keep flexing the feet. Rotate to the left, look at your left hand. Now reach across like you're going to saw off your left pinky toe with your right hand. Anchor the right hip down and pulse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Restack the spine and come back to center. And again, rotate 2 more each way. Reach, pulse. Exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, restack. Exhale to center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, reach across. And then exhale, exhale, exhale. Exhale, inhale, restack, exhale, back to center. 1 more time each way. And back to center. Very nice job. So now we're going to cross the ankles just to transition onto our stomach. So just rolling over the feet and the knees for Swan Dive. So we're going to start, I usually work my way up into Swan Dive, into the full, and then you have a couple different variations that you can stay with instead of doing the full. So hands right underneath the shoulders, legs are going to be turned out. We're going to lengthen the tailbone to the heels and then straighten the knees. Tops of the feet are still on the mat for a moment. Then I want you to lift your heart up. Pull the belly up and in, and then lift the legs. Now our body, we want to think about it being in the shape of the bottom of a rocking horse. We're going to use our arms to push into the mat to rock up, and then bend the elbows to rock down. You don't have to straighten your arms all the way because we do want to keep our pubic bone and our pelvis on the mat. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So really trying to keep that rocking horse shape so you feel the back muscles working. Now we're going to release and catch. So at the top, you release your hands and catch yourself, push yourself back up. So you're doing a rocking forward, and then you just kind of push yourself up and pause. Abs stay lifted. So just focus on rocking through the belly and through the pelvis. Harder variation, you'll reach your arms out, palms up and catch. Reach out, palms up and catch. Reach out, palms up and catch. Now we're going to do the full variation, so stick with one of those last 3 if you'd like. We're going to keep our arms out, rock forward and back 8 times. Here we go. And rest in a shell stretch, rounding the spine back, letting the forehead rest on the floor. And just a couple deep breaths in and out to release that work through the back. And let's go ahead and restack our spine all the way back up, and we're going to come back onto our forearms for 1 leg and 2 leg kick, or single leg and double leg kick. So you're going to be on the forearms, shoulders back, abs lifted, kind of like what you would be in a Sphinx pose in yoga. Abs continue to stay lifted. What we want to do is remember not to dump into the low back. So that would look like that. So I'm going to lift my core the whole time so my low back is lengthened and protected. The legs are parallel. Point the toes. Bend your right knee and pulse your heel to your bottom. Flex the foot, pulse it again. And then point the toes, you lower it back down. Same thing on the left, bend the knee, pulse the heel, flex the foot, pulse, lower back down. So what you'll feel want to happen is that your bottom, your butt, will want to lift up as you do the kick, as you do the pulse. So resist that happening by keeping your core engaged. Make sure your bottom doesn't come up off the mat. The breathing is an exhale, exhale, inhale, stretch. Shoulders down, one more each way. Now we're going to do double legs. This one's harder because both legs are working, so your bottom's going to want to come up. Your back's going to want to arch. So again, really lift up through your core, keep the shoulders down, and let's do doubles. Pulse. Pulse, stretch away. For those of you who are really advanced, if you want, when you stretch away, don't allow your feet to touch the floor. So it's almost as if you're stretching your legs away and the legs come off. The thighs come off. One more. I did that wrong. One more. Point, flex, and stretch. Let's rest in a shell stretch. Rounding the spine of the legs, let the front of your forehead or the top of the forehead rest on the floor and just let the muscles in the back release in flexion after doing the extension. Couple deep breaths in and out here. And let's restack the spine. And we're going to go ahead and cross the ankles just to transition. So the legs are out like they would be for a roll-up. Just take a little stretch forward for a moment. And the next exercise is neck pull. So the first one, I will be doing a variation with the arms in order to come up because the weight of your arms does help you roll up. Flex the feet just like you would for the roll-up. Lace your hands together, bring them behind the head at the base of your skull. Ribs down, and feel that length through your spine. Keep your toes and your knees looking straight up. We're going to lean back. So you're going to the back of the sit bones, and when you can't lean back anymore, you're going to scoop and roll back. Pointing the toes. Now this is the little modification. Release your hands, draw chin to chest, and do a roll up. When you reach the top, flex the feet, bring your hands back behind your head at the base of the skull. Feel the sharpest points of the sits bones, and then we're going to restack our spine on top of them. And as you do that, press your head into your hands and your hands into your head. So you get this really wonderful stretch along your spine and down your neck. And then again, we're going to lean back, scoop, roll back, point the toes, inhale, exhale, roll up, dive over. When you feel the sit bones, flex the feet, restack the spine, press your head into your hands and your hands into your head. Lean back, inhale, scoop, roll back, point the toes. Exhale, roll up. Flex the feet, stretch forward, restack, press your head into your hands and your hands into your head. And again, lean back, scoop, roll back, point the toes. Exhale, roll up, dive forward, flex the feet, and then restack, press your head into your hands and your hands into your head. And then we're going to go ahead and release the hands, adjust your body, and let's go ahead and lie back for scissors. Bending the knees, place your feet on the mat. We're going to work scissors and imprint because if your hamstrings are tight, it's a little easier to be an imprint. We're going to bring the hands behind the head at the base of the skull. Bring the legs to tabletop once you find imprint. We're going to bring one leg up, one leg out, draw chin to chest, curl up, and then reach up and grab the ankle towards the ankle of your left foot. We're going to pulse the legs away 2 times and then switch. Exhale, exhale, inhale, switch. Anchor down through the leg that's out so your hips feel like they're cemented to the floor. Let's pick up our pace. Pulse, pulse, switch. Reach away, switch. So the legs are reaching away. It's not really a bounce. It's a reach, reach, switch. Reach, reach, switch. Hands to the side of the body for more of a challenge for 4. 2 more sets. And rest. Just roll side to side. Deep breaths in and out. So last week we did an inverted bicycle. Today we're going to just do the regular bicycle. We'll go ahead and bring our hands behind the head at the base of the skull again, just to allow our head to rest into our hands. We're going to do one direction, take a break, and then do the other direction. We're going to try 4 each way. Imprinting, legs to tabletop, curl up. Take the left leg up, right leg out. You're going to bend the left knee. As you reach it out, lift the right leg up. Bend the right knee. As you reach it out, lift the left leg up. And then let's smooth that out. Exhale, inhale, stretch. Exhale, inhale, stretch. One more time each way. And rest. Just give your abs a break. And then we'll bring our hands behind the head at the base of the skull again. Imprint, legs come to tabletop. Tuck chin to chest, curl up. This time we'll start with the right leg up, left leg out. You're going to bend the left knee, drag your foot along the floor. And as you pull the knee in to reach your leg up, lower the right leg. Bend the right knee, drag the foot along the floor. As you pull the knee in, start to lower the left leg and reach the right leg up. And let's smooth that out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, stretch the legs away. Exhale, bend. Inhale, stretch the legs away. And rest, just roll side to side. Deep breaths in and out. We're going to bring our feet flat on the mat, hip width apart for shoulder bridge. So let's start with the arms overhead so we get a nice release in the shoulders. Make sure the hands aren't together. The arms are straight and they're as wide as your shoulders or even maybe a little wider. Deep breath in to prepare. On your exhale, imprint the low spine, roll up into a shoulder bridge. And as you do that, bring your arms down to your side. Really focus on squeezing the glutes. Make sure your knees are facing forward. And make sure your whole foot is on the mat. Make sure your toes aren't up. Make sure the large ball of your toe is on the floor. Deep breath in to stay. Exhale, soften through the heart, roll back down and take the arms back overhead. We're going to keep our bridges simple today. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, imprint, rolling up. Inhale, hold. Exhale, soften through the heart, roll back down, take the arms back overhead. 2 more, imprint, rolling up. Inhale, stay. Exhale, soften, roll back down, take the arms overhead. One more time, inhale, prepare, exhale, rolling up. Squeeze the glutes at the top, inhale, stay. Exhale, soften and roll down, take the arms back overhead. We're going to extend our legs down to the bottom corners of the mat. Start to float the arms up, draw chin to chest, and roll up for spine twist. When you find the sit bones, just kind of stack your spine right on top of them. Flex the feet. If you need to bend the knees to release your hamstrings, you can. We're going to take the arms out to the side. So make sure your twist comes from here. We want to resist this kind of motion happening through the shoulders. So the arms stay straight out from the shoulders. Nice and tall through the spine. Imagine a center line. We're going to rotate to the right along that center line. Even weight on your hips. No shifting in your legs or hips. And then we're going to pulse 4 times. 1, pulse a little deeper, 2, get a little taller, 3, one more time, 4, come back to center. Again, get a little taller, rotate to the left along that center line. And then we're going to rotate 1, exhale 2, taller 3, tallest 4, come back to center. And now let's do 3 pulses. 1, 2, 3, back to center. And to the other side, 3 pulses. Taller, taller, tallest, back to center. Let's do 2 pulses. Center, center. Now 1 pulse. And 1 pulse. And take the arms forward. Take a stretch out of that. Deep breaths in and out. Woo. And we're going to scoop and roll back for jackknife. Now, just like our rollover, jackknife is another exercise where we're inverting our bodies, or we're bringing our legs overhead, our legs above our heart. So from here, we're going to imprint, bring the legs to tabletop. Just like our rollover, if you're at home, you don't want to roll up, you can think about the legs going up to lift the hips. It's a tiny lift. Try to keep any tension out of your neck and shoulders. And this is going to help you build up that strength through your low abs. For jackknife, we're going to lift to go over. Balancing right at the top of the shoulder blades again, so make sure you're not on your neck. Now we want to keep the hip bones to the bottom of the ribs. And then we're going to engage our glutes to open up the hip only as far as we can stay balanced. Really pull in like you're scooping like we did for spine stretch forward. And then you're going to lower down bone by bone. We're going to make jackknife a little harder today by keeping our imprint. And as our legs lower, we're going to reach our arms overhead, keeping your imprint. Lift the arms and the legs. Arms touch the mat when the legs are up to the ceiling. And then we imprint, or sorry, we're in imprint. We deepen our imprint. Think about legs going up to go over. Balance. Open up the front of the hip. Really pull in through your core. Soften, roll back down. Keeping your imprint. As the legs go down, arms go up. And as the legs come up, arms go down. Legs go up to go over. Inhale, reach. 2 more. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen. 1 more. One more lower lift. And then we'll hug our knees and go ahead and roll to your left side. We're going to come up for our side kicks. We'll be up on our forearms today. We're going to bring our feet down to the bottom corners of the mat. And of course, you can always be here, keeping your mouse house. Lift through the bottom ribs if you're going to be on your elbows. So it'll be more of like a puppy house. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate my bottom leg, curl the toes under, and press into my toes to make it harder. Bottom ribs lifted. Top leg, we're going to lift hip width, flex the foot, kick it forward. 2 pulses. 1, 2, point, reach the leg longer than the bottom leg, and we're going to go ahead and reach it back to the corner of the room. Keep anchoring through this leg. Flex the foot, 2 kicks. As you reach back, this shoulder stays still. Good, 2 pulses. Inhale, reach it away. 2 more times. 1 more. Bend the knees, go to the other side. Again, you could be on your arm or your forearm. If you're on your arm, if you're lying all the way down, lift your mouse house. If you're up on your forearm, we're going to lift the ribs so it's more like a little puppy house. Good, keep the hips stacked. Curl the toes under if you want more of a challenge. And we're going to lift our top leg up, hip width, flex the foot, swing it forward, 2 kicks. 1, 2, point, reach it away. Anchor down through this leg and this shoulder. Flex, swing forward. Inhale, stretch it back. Keep lifting those bottom ribs. 2 more times. And rest. We're going to pull ourselves up, lying all the way down onto our back for teasers. 2 essential, 2 intermediate, 2 advanced today. Walking the legs out, your legs can be hip width apart or together. Together is harder because you have less range of motion through the pelvis when your legs are adducted. Arms to the side, palms facing up. Just get our bodies prepared for teasers. Walk your feet a little bit away from your body. Draw chin to chest. We're going to curl up into an ab prep. This time the palms are up, so we're just reaching our hands towards our knees. Lengthen the tailbone to the heels. Roll all the way up, finding the sharpest points of the sit bones, stacking your spine on that. Lift those arms overhead. Scoop, roll back down, leading back with the pubic bone. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, draw chin to chest, curl up, scooping those arms up and forward, taking an inhale, lifting them up, shoulders down, lift their mid back. Exhale, scoop and roll back. We're going to imprint, slide the legs to tabletop, draw chin to chest, curl up, balance at the top, and then scoop and roll back. Lead back with your pubic bone, pull your knees back with you. Keep your imprint. One more time. And then scoop and roll back down. Keeping your imprint, go ahead and start to slide the legs straight. Draw chin to chest. We're going to curl up, lengthen the tailbone to the heels so far that the legs start to come up and hit your teaser. If your hamstrings are tight, feel free to bend the knees to tabletop at the top, and then start to straighten them as you roll back down. When your low spine's on the mat, the legs are down, and then we lower the rest of the body. Again, draw chin to chest, curling up, lengthen the tailbone to the heels, come all the way up, inhale, and exhale, scoop and roll back down. Bottoms of the feet together, let your hands rest on your belly. Now let's take several deep breaths in and out, letting our heart rate come down. We're going to roll to the side, push ourselves up onto our forearms for hip twist. So if you're on your forearms, really push the elbows into the floor. You might even feel a little stretch across the bicep tendon, across the shoulders here. We're going to keep our spine lengthened, so we want to resist the spine sinking to the mat and also arching over it. So keep this distance kind of long. And we're going to bring the legs to tabletop just to find our balance. Ribs down, push the shoulders away. Take the legs up. The legs stay the same distance apart, unlike corkscrew, and you're twisting from your waist through the hips. So as we bring our legs to the left, the right hip comes off. We're going to do a big circle to the other side. The left hip comes off, and then circle back to center. And then to the right, left hip comes off. Big circle down, right hip comes off, back to center. So again, we want that twist coming from our waist. So from our obliques, the upper body is staying still. Inhale for half your circle. Exhale for the other half one more time, keeping the legs in parallel. Last one. We'll bring bottoms of the feet together right into a butterfly stretch, which usually feels good after that. Kind of releases through your hip flexor a little bit. A couple deep breaths in and out. We're going to cross the ankles, roll over the feet and the knees, and come onto our belly for swimming. Reaching the arms out, we're going to go right into it today, but if you're at home and you know you need to take it slow, just slow it down a little bit. Make sure you're on opposites. Legs can be turned out. We're going to lengthen the tailbone to the heels, straighten the knees so the knees come off, but not the feet yet. Lift the head and the shoulders. Pull your abs in more so you feel a suction cup action happening through your belly button. Reach through the arms, reach through the legs, and swim. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, and 4, and inhale. And exhale, and inhale. And exhale, pull the belly up and inhale. Exhale. 4 more breaths. Last 2. And rest. Push yourself into a shell stretch. Resting the top of the forehead on the mat. Couple deep breaths in and out here. And go ahead and restack your spine here. And then we are going to do leg pull front. So we'll have a seat, legs together, fingertips facing you, and just make sure your hands, they're not too close to you. We're leaning back a little bit. If your forearms or wrists are a little tight, you will probably feel a little stretch in your forearms. If this one's hard for you, if you have a dumbbell at home, you can always grab the dumbbell here. Just be careful that it doesn't roll. So we're going to squeeze the legs together, pull the shoulders back, zip up your abs. So imagine a zipper from your pubic bone to your belly button. You're going to just zip it all the way up to your breastbone even. And we're going to press the hips up. Look at your hips. And then slowly lower down. So we're going to do the full exercise now, but feel free to just keep the hips lifted, coming down when you need to. We're going to do one side and then the other, taking a break in between. So zip up the core, press, keep the hips up, take your right leg, lift, flex, lower. Keep those hips up, keep your right hip parallel to the left. 3 more. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. And then we're going to lower down to take a break. Deep breath in, zip up those abs, lift your heart, lift those hips up, left side, point, lift, flex, lower. Make sure the right leg stays in parallel. Large ball the toe, try to keep it on the mat one more time. Lower the hips, and then we're going to hug the knees into the chest, give our arms a nice little break. Deep breath in and out. It's a lot of extension for our shoulder, but it does build range of motion if you can kind of get those hips up there. Cross the ankles, to roll onto the hands and knees, and for leg pull back. So same movement, but we're going to be in a plank position. Feel free to do this on the forearms. Your range of motion will just be smaller. Shoulders down. We're going to step our legs back, hip width apart. And just find your plank. Make sure your hips are not up, shoulders are down. We're going to point the right foot, lift the leg without lifting the hip, flex the foot lower down for 4. Exhale, point, lift. Inhale, flex, lower. 3, 2, 1. Put the foot down. Left side, point, lift. Keep the left hip down. Keep both hips down. 2, 3, 4. Bring both knees down. Rest back in a flat back child's pose so you get a little shoulder release. Maybe give your hands a couple squeezes to release the wrists. Deep breaths in and out. And restacking the spine for side kicks, kneeling. So we're going to come into a kneeling position. Equal weight between your knees for a moment. Get yourself centered. Make sure your knees are in the same plane. They're right next to each other, but hip width apart. We're going to take the arms out to the side. Start to bring your weight onto your right knee. You're going to send your left leg out as you come down onto your right hand. Bend your top elbow. Bring your hand behind your head at the base of the skull. You want to resist when we start to do our leg kicks that this bottom leg doesn't do this type of movement. So we want to keep this hip forward and stable. Take your top leg lifted hip width, flex the foot, bring it forward, 2 pulses forward. Inhale, reach it back. 2 more. Bend the knee, reach your top arm up. We're going to push ourselves all the way back up onto our knees, shifting our weight onto our left leg. Start to bring your right leg out, coming down onto the left arm. Bend your top elbow, bring your hand behind your head, really pull the shoulders back. We're going to resist our bottom leg doing this type of motion. So keep it steady. Take your top leg, lift it, flex the foot, kick it forward, 2 pulses, and then reach it back, inhale. Keep your body long when your leg comes forward. Try not to collapse. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Bend the knee, reach your top arm up, come all the way up. Bring your legs together, reach your arms out in front, and then let your arms go to the right as you shift your hips to the left so we stretch out those muscles in the hip. Walk your hands over to the left as you shift your hips to the right. And then we're going to go ahead and have a seat on our left hip for side bends. Bottom foot is behind the top foot. Spread the fingers wide on your left hand. Pull the shoulders back, and then the right back of your wrist or back of your arm will rest on the right knee. First variation, I'm going to do what I usually do, keep the bottom knee down. And the last two variations, we'll squeeze the inner thighs together if you want that. Your balance is more challenged when both legs are up. So just take your time at home, be careful. Keep your bottom knee down to keep your balance. All right, definitely don't fall. You're still getting the same amount of workout. It's just the balance part isn't as challenged. So we're going to press the hips up and forward. Take a side bend over your mat. And then we're going to come all the way back down. So we're going to do 2 breaths today, inhaling all the way up, exhaling back down. Let's go to the advanced variation if you want it. Inhale, coming up, thighs squeeze together all the way into your side bend. Exhale, coming down. One more time, inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. And then let's switch sides. So that advanced variation, it's really important to get this connection here because that connection and that squeeze is actually what helps you keep your balance. So bottom foot behind the top foot, top wrist on the top knee. Bottom shoulder back, ribs down, all that good plotty stuff, and press into the knuckles of this right hand. Inhale, we're going to push the hips up right into our side bend today. Exhale, slowly lower down. Keep your bottom knee on or come up, squeezing the thighs together all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, slowly come down. One more time. This will feel really good after doing those side kicks because you're getting that nice little side bend in there. And then we're going to rest. Boomerang. The first 2 variations we'll do where we're not hitting teasers. So you're just coming into a stretch. And that way you could do that variation. And then we'll do 2 more coming up into our teaser. So cross one leg over the other. We're going to stretch forward. Shoulders down and breathe. Bring your hands to your hip now for boomerang. When we roll back, we want to lift the legs up at the same time. So you're trying to keep the legs as close to the chest as you can. So as we push into the floor with our hands, we're going to scoop and roll back. Keep looking at your belly button so you don't tip your head back. You're going to roll up to the shoulder blades, switch your crossed legs, and then we're going to roll back down into that stretch. One more time like that, hands at your hip, push, roll back, look at your belly button. Recross, tuck chin and chest as you're rolling back into your stretch. All right, 2 of the full boomerang. Push back, roll back. Instead of rolling into your stretch, you're going to hit a teaser. Balance to the back of the sit bones. Keep reaching the legs out. We're going to take the arms high, circle them around, lace your hands behind the small of your back. Wash out your shoulders. Lower the legs, really pull those abs in and then dive forward. Release the hands, bringing your hands to your feet for your stretch. One more time, hands at your hips. Scoop, roll back. Recross. Instead of hitting your stretch, we're going to curl up and hit our teaser. Connect those inner thighs like you did for side bends. Circle the arms. Lace your hands behind the small of your back. Wash out your shoulders. Lower the legs. Curl deeper. Dive forward. And then release your hands to your feet in your stretch. And then restack the spine for seal. We're going to take our arms to the inside of the legs, around so that our ankles are resting in our hands. Scoop to the back of the sit bones. We're going to tap our toes 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Leading back with the pubic bone. You're going to balance 1, 2, 3, and then roll back up. So our toes tap 3 times at the top and at the bottom. The hard part is the bottom taps. You have to work your core to hold that position as you do your toe taps. And my head actually never touches the mat. So I'm keeping my chin tucked to my chest, looking right at my belly button, right where my teacup would be if I was in neutral. One more each way. You hear something outside, babe? And rest. I hear some truck doors. Some might be a delivery next door, so she's barking. You're a good girl, a little watchdog. So now the next one is crab. We did this also last month. So it's not one I teach a lot. So you just want to be careful since you're at home that you don't put a lot of pressure on your head, which would then put pressure in your cervical spine. This is very delicate here. So when we go into crab, I'll cue it, but just be aware that you don't really want a lot of pressure on your head, okay? So we're gonna grab our toes and you're going to rock forward over the legs, coming down onto the head, but not a lot of pressure. And then you're gonna scoop and press your spine up to the ceiling. And then we're going to roll back. Keep looking at your belly button. You're rolling over your feet, rolling back to the top of the shoulder blades, rolling back up. Roll over. Little gentle pressure on the head as you round the spine to the ceiling. Remember, not a lot of pressure on the head. Rolling back, rolling up. We'll just kind of put it together. 3 more. Two more. One more. And rest. Woo! So my upper mid back is very flat, probably from dance. So whenever I do that one, I feel these muscles right in my mid back really getting a good stretch when I go forward. So it feels kind of nice. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit of that at home. We're going to go into rocking now. I'm going to do a modification if you cannot go into the full rocking. So turning the head to one side, legs on the mat. Just take a couple deep breaths in and out here. We're going to start to lift the chest, pull the belly in, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms, lift the legs. You're coming into a full extension. You want your thumbs facing down. And then as we lower down, we'll turn our head to the other side. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift the head, turn the head to center, pull the shoulders back, lift the arms, thumbs face down, and lift the legs. Belly pulls up. Everything is lifting. And then lowering back down. So there's your modification. We're just going to do one rocking today. So bend the knees, grab your feet or ankles, and just press your heels to your bottom so you feel that stretch in your quads. Just like our single and double leg kicks, you want to resist your butt arching or your butt coming up like that. So really press your hips into the mat. You'll get a better stretch in your quad. We're going to start to lift the heart, turn the head to center, pull the shoulders back, and then you're going to press your hands into your feet and your feet in your hands. And we're going to use our abs to kind of rock. Inhale back, exhale forward. So I'm using my belly to add that rocking motion. One more. Stay. And then lower down, turn your head to the other side and just rest onto the floor. Deep breath in and out as you let your back muscles relax. And then we're going to push ourselves into a shell stretch. Crossing the ankles, roll over your feet and your knees for control balance. Control balance is another one where we're inverted, our legs are overhead. So I'll give you another modification, just like we did for rollover and jackknife. So legs up to the ceiling, arms at your side. You're just going to deepen your imprint and see if you can do little hip lifts. And the other variation you could do too is we do these a lot where you cross your ankles if you want a little bit bigger roll through your spine. You could think knees to shoulders, and that will give you more of a lift. So it's going to put your spine into more flexion. So it's going to be a little bit just creating more range of motion. So you can choose if you want to stick with these that we did today, or if you want to do hip rolls. So control front bounce or control bounce, we're going to bring our legs up, imprint, lift the legs overhead. We're going to balance at the top of our shoulder blades. From here, you're going to take your right leg and reach it behind you, but I want you to pull the right hip back so that the hip doesn't come forward as you're reaching through your leg. So when you're looking at your hips, your hip bones should be even to each other. And then once the leg is there, you're going to reach your left leg back only as far as you can stay balanced. And we're going to try to lift the right leg back up. Let them meet. Left leg reaches past your shoulder. Pull the left hip back. Don't let it come forward. When you're looking, your hip bones should be parallel. Reach your right leg back more. And then slowly bring the left leg up. Now, for those of you who might want more of a challenge, we're going to take one arm overhead and then the other. And make sure you're still on your shoulder blades. You're not on your neck. We're going to take our right arm past our shoulder towards our hand. Pull that right hip back. Send your left leg up. And then slowly bring the right leg back up. We're really scooping in through our core so our spine is in flexion. Left leg. Even out the hips. Bring it back up one more time each way, right and then left. The whole time I'm watching my hip bones to make sure that my hip bones stay even to each other. Don't forget that lifting through your opposite leg. When your legs come together, if your arms are overhead, we're going to take one arm down and then the other, trying to balance, and then roll down through your spine. Ooh, hug the knees in. Let's make circles with our knees on the ceiling so we get a little release through our lumbar spine, because our lumbar spine was in a very big stretch there. Let's reverse it. We have just enough time for push-ups. We're going to do 6 push-ups today. Pilates push-ups. It's going to be that 3 count down, 3 count up. Make sure you don't pause on the count. It's a smooth lower for the count and a smooth lift for the count. So if you want to do them on your knees, you can have your ankles crossed, hips open in low lever plank. If you want to do them in your full plank, uncross your legs and lift your knees. Here we go. Lower down, 2, 3, and up. 2, 3. Elbows look slightly back. 2, 3, and up. Press into your knuckles. Down. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3, and down. 2, 3, and lift your belly, lift your head. And 2 more. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3, and one more time. 3, and up. 2, 3, and rest. We'll rest in a flat back child's pose, letting the forehead rest on the mat. Deep breaths in and out. When you are ready, take your time, restack your spine. And that concludes our classic mat class today. Great class. If you watch my video, you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And then hit the subscribe if you want to get notifications for when I post the exercise of the day for each day of this month in the mat repertoire, which we did today. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys soon.